Hi, so my name is Carlos Romero and I'm here with Sanjay Sabrawal, and we were at lunch yesterday, and as people do, we were talking shop, talking about problems our clients run into, and we thought this might be useful information for us to share with our audience out there, and they might find it useful. So Sanjay, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, so as it happens, I'm an attorney and I do mostly employment law. And I was telling Carlos, one of the reasons I actually like referring him to my clients is because I get a lot of clients are new businesses. They have a license, they have a lease, they have a location. They just don't know how to start hiring employees, or they don't know how they're supposed to do the timekeeping. So Carlos, why you?
So yes, so I do payroll for small to mid-sized companies. I help clients with time and attendance, payroll, and HR issues. And so when we were having that conversation, Sanjay brought up the question of time and attendance. So how did the conversation start?
Yeah, I always find it very interesting when I get a former employee that will send me their time records and they're all either rounded up and they're perfect zeros, and that tells me right away there's been a technical violation. Or I've had clients that businesses, they're like, oh, we just do timesheets, or I pay them a certain way. I pay them a paycheck every 2 weeks. I pay them a certain set pay every 2 weeks, and I shake my head because right then and there I know there's been a mistake made.
So we have solutions for clients that are in that situation. We actually provide time and attendance systems that will track that information for them automatically, so they don't have to deal with it. It's not a physical time clock. They could do it through their phone, they could do it through their iPad, and they could do it through their computer, whatever's most convenient for them. So this way you get an accurate representation of the hours worked from the time they clock in until they clock out, and they can track lunch times, they can track time off, so that way you don't have to worry about it.
Well, and here's why it becomes important, because these are like technical violations that actually can add up to a lot of penalties for employers. Because the initial violation, let's assume you don't even do a pay stub. Guess what's going to happen? That's a $250 violation, and then $1,000 per employee per violation after that. The most common one is the inaccurate ones, the ones that have done the rounding up or estimating, because that's $150 for the initial, $50 for the initial violation, and $100 per violation till $4,000 per employee. So I know we're not good at math, but I'm gonna put this up, Carlos.
So let's say you have a client that has, say, 40 or 50 employees. 30 of them are you're tracking time. And so those 30 employees, they're all in violation. You're saying it's $4,000 per employee. We're looking at $120,000 in penalties simply for not tracking correctly. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sanjay?
Plus interest, plus attorney's fees, and and then they add up after a while.
So we can help clients avoid those type of situations by protecting them, by tracking that information correctly, accurately, and we house that information for them. So that way they don't have to go searching for time cards, making sure that's there. We actually provide a file that is available just in time. Whenever you need to pull it up, you can pull it up on your computer. You can email it, and that way you're done. You don't need to worry about accessing it in different places.
So one of the reasons I actually was introduced to Carlos was because for my firm needed someone. I had an assistant, and we go to depositions. We're remotely a lot of times, but I wanted her to log in using her laptop or her phone. And Carlos actually mentioned me several options that I didn't even know that was an option. I always assumed, even being an employer, that we had to have physical time card machines, which is what we had at our older locations. And Carlos introduced me to the products that they have.
So during our conversation, clients always ask me, well, how do I need to do this? So, well, how do you want to do it? Do you want to track it on their phone, where they could go to a job site and once they're there, they could clock in there, but it'll give you information knowing that they are there? Do you want them to be able to track it on an iPad, where they clock in through an iPad, and that way that information is tracked that way? Or would you prefer for them to be able to log on from their computer once they're at their desk? Either way, all of those methods, they can all go to one file, and that way you can have different job sites and different jobs that people do, but tracked in one location, and then that information is automatically transferred to payroll. So there's no double entry. You don't have to sit there and move information from one file to another file or do an Excel spreadsheet, which a lot of people do. You can avoid all that and make your life a lot easier because it'll automatically be in the payroll.
That reminds me, because our next episode is going to be about wage statements. There's supposed to be 9 things that go on a wage statement. I won't go into detail now. Carlos and I will discuss it, and that's one of the most common violations that happens on a pay stub.
So there you go. That's time and attendance. Quick primer on that.